Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV here to review the game against Spurs. This is called the day after review because we're doing this review the day after the game. And I've got...
Very clever, very clever.
You know me, mate. Always come up with the wit, good wit from me. I've got the main man who, I don't know how you're smiling, mate. I don't know if that's a wry smile.
That's all you can do, mate. Hey, it's football. It's not the end of the world, is it, mate? There's worse things happening in the world. As far as football's concerned, probably not. But in general, we have to take it.
Yeah. Game finished 3-3. There's a million things to unpack. And I like to do these videos in 10 or 15 minutes. We couldn't, I don't think, squeeze everything. I made a ton of notes. Got about 20 points. There's no way we can go through all these. So City drew 3-3. We went behind. We came back to lead. We were looking in that first half as City should look, being high up in the league. Tottenham were looking dodgy, as they should look for a team that's lost the last 3 games, got 10 or 11 main players not available. It was a shame that we were only 2-1 up at half-time. We should have been 3-4. 3 or 4-1 wouldn't have flattered us. Haaland missed a sitter. Doku hit the angle of crossbar and post. We were pretty dominant without being clinical. Spurs come back in the second half. They scored a goal. We scored a goal. We thought that's the winner. It should have been the winner. We should have tightened up. We should have buckled down. And in injury time, Spurs score again. Now, if I'm right, that's the 4th late goal City have conceded in recent times. I can't tell you them off the top of my head, but we've let goals in against Arsenal late on. After 80 minutes in games, we've let goals in. One of them certainly was Arsenal one, and obviously the Spurs one here. We've let other goals in and we've ended up dropping points. So instead of sitting top of the league, which is where I think we should be, we've drawn the last 3 games where we're winning in each game and let teams come back. Chelsea, they scored in the 95th minute, for instance. Spurs have scored in whatever minute it was. It was late.
90th, wasn't it? 90th,
yeah. All these late goals against City. And Bernard, do you think, it's a big statement, we're over the hill for this season? But something's not working. And there's lots of things, there's lots of dynamics here. We've lost Gundogan. We lost Mahrez. Okay, Laporte, even though Laporte didn't play that much, these are senior players that we've lost, and KDB's injured. So I think overall it has a big impact. All these senior players that we've lost in a very quick space of time. There's lots of where you can think, is this the reason? Is that the reason? Lots of reasons. Pep messing about with the defense. Pep messing about with the guy who's going to play alongside Rodri. Lots of things. Where is there one single thing that you can say that's the reason where we're not so good?
Well, particularly last night, we're losing the ball too much. I mean, our pass accuracy last night, all right, sounds good, 87%, but that isn't City at its best. City at its best is 89, 90, 91%. Yeah. Only small figures, but they all matter. I mean, you think of all the Tottenham goals last night. I mean, again, individual errors come into it. We keep talking about. But obviously, they've started from us losing the ball in and around their box, and we keep doing it, and we're not holding on to. We're not showing any guile. We're not, as a team, when we take leads. I mean, I said in my thing, we usually bore teams to death. We usually bore them with our football. We're not doing it. Tottenham were a very weak team. Very weak team. All right, they're up there. They were challenging, but as you mentioned before, last 3 games, all right, 1 or 2 of them perhaps we were slightly unlucky with the circumstances, but they're not good. Tottenham are not a good team. So the amount of balls they put out of play or they missed control was unbelievable. So a good City team should be able to take advantage of that, and a good City team shouldn't be 2-1 and 3-1 up, 3-2 up. And lose it like that. We're just not showing any guile or calmness on the ball. Yeah. And we're losing it far too often. And it starts with the attack and works the way back. I'm not going to blame the defence as such because, Rodri, I saw Rodri remonstrating on a social media thing this morning. And I thought, well, Rodri, you're the world's greatest defensive midfielder. Where are you defending our defence? You know, where as you a midfielder, the best in the world. What's happened? Because you're not we're not defending our defence from midfield upwards.
No, I understand, and I'm sure if I just let you go, you'd just talk for 10 minutes slagging them off. But I'm not. I'll hold my hands up. I'm not good enough at the technical aspects of the game or strategy and stuff like that. Is Rodri struggling? Because he has struggled now this season. We've seen it in several games. People have said it's not the Rodri. And then he does it again a couple of games later. This is not Rodri. You know, he's allowed a bad game, but he's had 3 or 4 this season, I reckon. Is he struggling because of who he's lost in front of him? As in there's no KDB, there's no Gundogan. Is he struggling because the system Pep's adopting isn't ideal for Rodri? Is he struggling because the person Pep's trying to play alongside him, was it Akanji? I don't know. Does he need help? Is Pep picking the wrong personnel? Because, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm not having Manuel Akanji playing alongside Rodri when I've got John Stones on the bench for the 3rd game on the trot.
And obviously, Stones isn't right, but why is he on the bench? I don't understand it.
What's he doing? What's he doing on the bench? Is Stones on the bench?
Put one of the EDS, like, you know, the cleverest of them on.
Is Stones on the bench just to frighten the opposition to think, oh, Stones could come on? It's pointless. It is pointless. But what's wrong with Rico Lewis? Rico Lewis developed that position. Stones is learning from Rico. Why can't we put Rico? We put him on at the end. We saw passion. Did you see him lose it at the end of the game when he thought they weren't going to give that goal kick to us? Well, it went sliding in. He knocked it against whoever the Spurs player was, and he thought he weren't going to get, the ref was going to give a corner kick. He went ape. He was, you know, it looked like he was effing and blinding. So he wasn't happy at all. But that's the passion I want to see. I didn't see that from some of the other players. You talk about the unforced errors. We took a corner and they scored from it. I've said this before. When we get a corner, what we should do, okay, is just kick it off. Give them a goal kick. Just kick it off. Give them because what do we score from corners? Very, very little. We are more dangerous from an opposition's goal kick if teams like Spurs want to play it around at the back. We are more dangerous getting a goal kick than us getting a corner. That was the first goal. Doku, you know, he got outthought because I mean he didn't think about what he was doing. He had
said it before, haven't we? I mean, he's not a defender, of course he's not, but he's a footballer. He's a what is wrong? And I think you said it a couple of your things ago, or Bolt from the Blue. What is wrong with just putting your foot through it and put it in Rose head, or just whacking it? He tried to be clever. He tried, and obviously against Son, who was a talented player, you can't do that. And you know, I do. They got brains of peanuts sometimes, players, haven't they? And I think Rodri has. I think Rodri's got the brain of a peanut with decisions he makes sometimes, even though he is brilliant at times. And Doku, all he had to do was oof it somewhere. He didn't have to do anything special.
The thing is, he misjudged it. Doku misjudged it. He allowed it to bounce, and from having 2 yards on Son, he let Son get on the outside. I don't understand that. But the other thing is, I'm not asking for players to cheat and foul. But if he just pushed Son over, he'd have taken a yellow card. He won't got a red because there's other players there. He would have taken it. You take one for the team, you move on.
I'll tell you that. He could have done that.
I don't like
it. Then Rodri got a yellow card for doing something. You know what? In that position, you expect Rodri to do it, but he got a yellow card for something that was unnecessary as well. So again,
getting unnecessary yellow cards.
You know, there's no thought. There's not a lot of thought going on.
Was it Grealish got a yellow card for kicking the ball away?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he misses the Villa game. I mean, stupid.
He's got 5 yellow cards in 10 games, and he's come on as sub in all of them. That is shocking. That is shocking discipline. Grealish wants, you know, generally the discipline of City is poor. I don't blame him for the incident at the end because obviously we were all upset. Of course we were, but discipline-wise as well, it's all the same thing, isn't it? Playing as a team, discipline, playing as a unit. It's just not. This stuff's not there,
and it worries me as well because we started the season on fire, winning 6 league games on the bounce. People were afraid we were going to run away with it. In the last 8 games, we've won 3.
16-17 again, isn't it, this one?
Someone said that to me the other day. It feels like that 16-17, you know, because I said it feels like that Liverpool season when they won the league. He said, no, it's 16-17. We start well, but we flattered. In that season, we flattered to deceive, and then we got kicked up the backside. And I just can't see. Look, we are that sort of team that can just turn it around and go on a winning run of 6 or 8 games. If we went on a winning run of 6 or 8 games, we'd be up there back on top, I reckon. But the concern is I can't see that happening. I can't see where that's coming from because there are too many mistakes. We've leaked 10 goals in the last 4 games, I think. We let a goal in against Liverpool late on, 2 against Leipzig, 3 against Spurs, 4 against Chelsea. We've been shocking. You know, as I said, we could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours about it. We won't do that. I'm going to say a final point. Do you think we're going to win the league this season, the way things are going? Because Villa are right behind us, Liverpool are ahead of us, Arsenal are ahead of us, Spurs are right behind us. And I think this is the damnest thing I can say. Manchester United, who haven't been beaten a top 10 team. Man United have beaten teams like Sheffield United, Luton, Burnley. They've only beaten bottom of the table sides at 6 points. Are they 6 points behind us, Man United? Yeah. It's disgusting. So, you know, 2 questions. 2 questions. 1, are we going to win the league? 2, how much blame do you put on Pep for what's happening?
Of course, we could still win the league. Of course, we're only 14 games in. Of course, we could still win the league, but we have to see a sea change. We have to see something. Yeah. We have to see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train coming the other way, don't we? We have to see something happening. And at the moment, as fans, yeah, I mean, we're not playing well. It's as simple as that. We're down to everyone else's level, and even worse because, as I said, Spurs were a poor team, and if we can't beat Spurs, it's a bit of a worry. But it's 14 games in. Of course, everyone will go on. We've got KDB to come back, etc., etc. But at this point in time, it will be incredibly close. I mean, some people might argue we'll be struggling to finish top 4 the way current form, and I would totally agree with that. But that's current form. That doesn't mean around the corner we'll turn things around. And Pep has to do some work on this team.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's doing. We keep saying week in, week out, he'll work on it while we're not playing. Obviously, now as games come quick and fast, he doesn't have a lot of time to do things, does he? And I'm looking at the team for the Villa game, which we'll talk about on another thing. And he's got to somehow change tactics. He's got to somehow change the formation or tweak it slightly. And do something about it. So Pep, of course, Pep's to blame, but he can't. At the end of the day, those players are good enough on that are starting that game. So I would put a lot on the players and some on Pep. But Pep's brilliant. He'll get round it, and we're still. I want to be positive. We're still only 3 points behind the leaders after 14 games. It's nothing for City, and everyone knows we'll be great after Christmas because that's what we always do. But sometimes we're not going to do that, are we? We're going to be near the bottom of the league, in a few years' time. Who knows? But it's not over till that fat lady sings. But it's a long, long, long way off. And mostly the players, but a bit on Pep as well, of course. But we'll sort it.
Well, that's the first time we've ever brought Vanessa Feltz into our into our videos. But anyway, yeah, mate. Look, we've got to stay positive. It's a tough time. Just like we said the other day, when Mike talked about a bad season. This is not a bad season. It's a struggle, and we're not performing our usual high level, our usual high standard. We've got to get through it. I hope we do, and if we do, then we'll be there.
The worst thing can happen to us at the moment is if someone like Arsenal go on a good run, because I think someone said about them they need to be 10 points clear at Christmas to beat City, and if they do go on a long run, and we are, that is possible. That is very possible. So at the moment, while teams are taking points off each other, it's okay. It's not too bad. But if someone goes on a good run, this is when Arsenal have to step up, I think, and prove just if they are any good or not.
If you look at the top teams that we played, Arsenal lost. Liverpool at home drew. Spurs at home drew.
And they've not been that good, mate, have they? Let's be honest about it. There's no one, knocking it out of the park, is there, this season? No team I've played, I've thought, wow. Not at all. It might change on Wednesday night when we play Villa. But at this point in time, I've not thought, oh, wow, about anybody. And yet, and that includes us, of course.
Yeah. Might as well be Celtic, yeah. Thanks a lot, mate. Let's keep chin up or chins up in some of our cases, and hopefully we'll get back to winning ways soon, because I don't know what a win feels like in the league. It's been ages. Well, it has been a long time since we last won in the league, and hopefully we have to, I think we have to do the business against Villa on Wednesday night. Thanks a lot, Bernard. Guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you can hit that bell icon, you'll be notified as soon as new videos come out. And we'll see you around Blues.